It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome. We have a special episode right here for you. Of course, our daily mission is to bring you the news that you can use. Our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter handle are all at the Mike Prince Show. YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network. Our 24-hour dial-in message line, 713-570-6736. And without any further delay, we'll jump right to today's episode. Well, as we mentioned in the opener, we try to give you news that you can use, keep you updated on what's going on throughout the local, regional, and in some cases, national when it comes to athletics. We have on the line with us right now, head football coach of the Hempstead Bobcats. UIL had just let out a ruling, and before we go into more detail, we're going to come back to the show, none other than Coach Royce Hill. How you doing today, Coach?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing exceptionally well. I know you guys are excited about the verdict that has come down by the UIL, and before I botch it up, how about if you bring us up to speed on the ruling that was made?
Basically, UIL, I've been telling people that I didn't want to be in their shoes. This is an unprecedented time that we're all, going through. But they've come down with a ruling that I feel like, it's fair for all, and they're trying to make it equitable for all levels. They're allowing the 4A and under schools to go ahead and move forward as were previously, written, starting August the 3rd. It'll be our first day of practice. We'll be allowed to have our first games on August the 27th as regular. And then they turned around and told the 5A and 6A schools that, they can't begin until September the 7th, pushing back their schedule, which is just, like I say, once again, I've been using that word unprecedented a lot, but it's going to be a definite change for some of those larger programs in our state, with the staggered start. It's going to push back even the state championship back into January, kind of a to be determined thing. But, we were talking, some of my buddies, and some of their playoff games now, they'll be playing, playoff games, Thanksgiving, Christmas, they'll be playing, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day after Christmas, they'll be playing playoff games. So it's going to be different for them. New Year's, day before New Year's, day after New Year's. So it's going to really be different if we're able to get to that point.
So it'd almost be like a college experience for the 5A and 6A programs if they were able to make it to the playoffs.
Very much so, and one of my friends makes a statement, kind of joking with, some of the others, said some of you guys have never played on Christmas, so, because they haven't played that deep into the playoffs, I kind of, jabbing at them, but they said, this year there'll be a lot of teams to get those experiences. You're right, to get those, the college experience of playing over different holidays that they've never played over. So it's definitely, like I say, something that UIL did that I did not want to be in their shoes in this situation. That having to make some of the decisions that they've had to make. But I feel like at this point in time, they did the best that we could all expect. We can't predict, what's going to happen next week. They gave us that caveat within the information that told us that, to check our website daily. This is a very fluid situation, but at this time, this is the calendar that we're moving forward with.
Okay, we're speaking right now with Coach Royce Hill, head football coach of the Hempstead Bobcats. Coach, let me ask you this question. With the decision that's being made, and we know from time to time you have your non-district games, which are equivalent to non-conference games on the college level. So I am to assume that if you happen to be a 3 or 4A program that may have had a 5, even 6A game scheduled, more than likely that game will not be played, correct?
That is correct, and it's something that yesterday it was a whirlwind of activity. I can tell you my phone was hot. Because it was one of those things, it was kind of like realignment day yesterday. There were a lot of schools that were scrambling to figure out who was in, who was out of this new plan. Actually, with our schedule, we're still waiting on word from Houston Fur. I spoke with them yesterday. He actually reached out to me, and I say once again, it's not a position that you envy because they just don't know. HISD does not know what they're going to do with their scheduling. They were actually meeting when he texted me yesterday, and they're still trying to come up with a plan as what they're going to do football-wise because of the schedules they've been dealt with, online academically. So it definitely was a very active day across the state yesterday as far as people scrambling, trying to pick up games, people trying to find out who is still playing and who is not. So it made for a lot of interesting conversations, I'll say that.
I could imagine so, and it's ironic that you would talk about it was like realignment day, and we want to talk about your new district, District 12 of the 3A division. You have Bowling, Columbus, of course, you have Hattersville, and what is it, Hitchcock and Yoakum. And then, of course, you guys make up the rest of the district. It's not too many dynamic changes that happens on, we want to say, the 3A level on down to 1A when it comes to realignment because of the limited, I guess, options available for 3A and below. But when you look at this district, it's not easy walk or easy task to try to survive in this district. And how do you see you guys sizing up with the new district look for District 12?
I want to tell you, I'm excited about the district. It is a very dynamic district. We've been put in with some old foes, old familiar foes, I would say. We go way back with Hallettsville. And Coach Pensick does a great job down there with those guys. They're going to be ready to play. We've had some epic battles with Hallettsville through the years. And we've spoken a few times. I'm good friends with him, and we'll call and we'll talk about some of those old days and how things have changed for the good, or those other words. So that's going to be one that we'll look forward to for sure. Actually, open up district with Hallettsville down there. Next to they have a dynamic back down there, a young man has multiple Division I offers, protected back. So it's going to be a tremendous challenge for us to go down there and take care of business, opening up. Once again, like you said, we have hit with Hitchcock and Columbus. I mean, they're perennial powers. Columbus actually, probably was the second best team in the state last year. I mean, they lost in the semifinals, but they lost to the state champion and gave the state champion Grandview the best game I've seen all year in that semifinal game. So they got some that they lost quite a bit as far as like the big back that they had, Simchick, and a couple of the big linemen they had and things. But they're a perennial power. Columbus is going to be who they are. Hitchcock the same way. Then we have Bowling and Yoakum as well, and so you just know what you're getting when you play those programs. It's that tough old school football. One of my kids was joking, they keep up with all these, the latest online and TV, trends. They had watched the Friday Night Tyke show that was out, a few years ago, and actually one of my buddies I went to college with is one of the coaches on there, but the San Antonio teams. But one of the kids reminded me, they were like, "Coach, the Yoakum team that was on there, that's the group that's in high school now." So it's almost like they know all these kids' names and all, because they were on this Friday Night Tyke, TV show.
Uh-huh.
So it was funny to listen to those guys talk about that, and almost like we were getting ready to play some celebrities or something, because they knew these kids, this Friday Night Type show, but like I said, we know what we're getting. I say it's old school football, and so we've been preparing for that. And I'm really proud of the way the kids are coming out and working this summer. They've had things happen, and I feel like it's last year we talked about it one day. We ended up 5-5, and 3 of the losses were by combined 5 points. It would be some 5 or 6 points. The kids are like, "Coach, we should have easily been 8-2." I said, I agree. So that's something they kind of worked with that chip on their shoulder, that they want to change some of those little things and things, that feel like they could have affected the game a little bit different. Try to flip those outcomes this season.
We're talking right now with Coach Royce Hill, head football coach of the Hempstead Bobcats, and the news of the UIL releasing the hounds and say, let's get back at it. Now, when you look at that, Coach, and that the kids have been out of the normal school environments. How challenging do you think it will be to get the kids back in the physical shape necessary? Because let's be honest, they're not going to work out the way they would with proper supervision. And the mental approach, as now the clock will begin to be accelerated come August 3rd.
That's the challenge right there. We've been meeting often as coaches via Zoom, and that's one of the things we're trying to come up with creative ways to make sure that we get these guys back into just the routine. And there's so many things that we're going to have to do different and be creative with, even with dressing room facilities. We're trying to come up with ways where, we don't have guys cramming into that dressing room. We're having, rotating them through, and we're having shifts and that kind of thing, So different things that we're going to have to come up with, to fight and battle this unprecedented time. But you are right. I mean, kids, if kids were able to push themselves and do the things that they were supposed to do, there wouldn't be any need for coaches with whistles. So we're going to have to ease our kids back in there, especially the ones that haven't been as active as other kids, and to make sure that, we're safe and taking all the precautions, that we don't injure kids, right off the bat trying to jump in as any normal year would be. You're correct.
Okay, and I guess our final question for today, Coach, do you have any type of like protocols in place for checking kids' temperatures, if not testing, as you ease back into it? I know we're talking about athletics right now. We're going to stick on that part, not a district policy, but just maybe an athletic policy on how to handle the next phase.
Yes, we actually, even during our strength and conditioning phase that we've been in at this moment, we temperature check our kids every day. As soon as they get to the facility, it's one instance that we use. We temperature check our kids, and if they don't meet the temperature, they're immediately turned around and have to leave the facility. That's a daily check. That's also, their symptoms. You ask them their symptoms and make sure they're haven't experienced any symptoms or don't have anyone at home that has been tested positive. So it's going to be, there's coaches that have different jobs that they haven't had. I'll say that. I have, two coaches that are responsible for that every day, and it's been documented. We document their temperature, so be able to keep up with it. And it's just going to be an unprecedented time for us all. But, we're willing to do the work that it takes to get through it. I will say that. Our coaches have been excellent during this process of trying to learn, trying to keep up with the latest news, trying to come up with new innovative ways to fight through it. It has been good on that end.
Well, we've only just begun, because I can imagine that as the days go by, the more creativity will pop up and we'll figure out new ways to do old things. And we're going to wish you nothing but success, good luck, good fortune. Hopefully everyone stays safe and you get some wins to get another playoff run. We've been on a drought, Coach. It's been a while since I called a championship game on the state level, man. We got to get back to old Arlington, Texas.
I tell you what, that's always the goal. I tell, kids, tell coaches, if your goal is not to end up in Arlington, there's something wrong. And only two teams can end up there, but that should be your goal going into every season. And, kind of like you said, there are going to be changes, but it's my ultimate goal, and my ultimate job is to keep our kids safe. And that's something right there that I don't take that job lightly. I'm going to make sure that whatever we're doing, that we're keeping these kids safe first and foremost. And after that, like I said, we're going to try to attack the season it's been given to us and get some wins and try to end up in that ultimate goal of being in Arlington, Texas. It's very safe. That's our goal.
Coach, we plan to be right there with you each and every step of the way. I want to thank you so much for breaking things down and explaining a little bit more detail on the ultimate decision that was made by the UIL. Football is back on track, and I know the people not only in Hempstead but in Texas are turning cartwheels, And I won't turn a cartwheel, but I will clap my hands. How about that, Coach?
I think a clap would be sufficient.
Look, we thank you again so much for joining in with us on today. And we thank you all for joining in with us here at the Mike Prince Show at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, where it is our mission to give you news that you can use where we are taking care of business. They say service around the clock. Without any more bring on today, we are going to let the time fade us into the sunset. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. We want to thank you guys so much for joining in with us. Don't forget our social media handles for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are all at the Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network. I've got the exit stage left, but until the next time, you guys be blessed. We'll see you on the other side.